Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series, August 27th, 1988 is the episode on tap for right now. Bill Irwin and Matt Bourne versus Black Bart and Jimmy Jack Funk. Interesting tag team here. Match kind of starts with a heavy brawl, and Bart sends Irwin into the turnbuckles. Funk and Bart are working together pretty obsessively. Interesting to see this in such a interesting way. I wonder. I mean, being that we're 2 months basically away from the end of the territory availability, I do wonder if there isn't a bigger plan, or wasn't a bigger plan, for Bart and Bill Irwin to finish more of a feud. Also, Black Bart takes a dominant role in the match. I wonder if there's a way to get heat back over the next little while. Jimmy Jack Funk, does manage to work with Bart pretty reasonably. Funk is holding on to a inverted chin lock and front face lock on his adversary. Matt Bourne, who actually looks to be in better physical condition muscular-wise over these last few appearances that he's had late in 1988, is interesting to think that, 2 years later, 89, 90, less than 3 years, full years, he'll be doing the Big Josh thing is kind of interesting in WCW. Anyway, Inzaguri by Matt Bourne, didn't think I'd say that sentence at any point. And so Bourne and Funk have kind of fared off a bit. This sounds like a law office. The law offices of Bourne and Funk. But anyway, so kind of a breakdown there. And Bourne manages to drive his opponent out a little bit. Once again, we come down to Matt Bourne and Black Bart. Again, a pairing I wouldn't have imagined to see even a year ago in World Class. And so, the pull through is rather interesting. Anyway, Bill Irwin and Jimmy Jack Funk are going at it. Black Bart tries to gain a illegal victory for his team. The Bart and Bill Irwin manage to brawl on the floor. Matt Bourne is actually being somewhat dominated by, none other than Bill Irwin on the floor. They brawl through the crowd. Nothing really gets settled in this particular match. Iceman King Parsons and Skandor Akbar is there. Parsons is the Texas champion once again. And Akbar talks about what it is to have gold in his area. Talks about letting Kerry being allowed to sub for Kevin in the Texas Championship match. Not really much made sense of there. The announcer doesn't. And I will say this, I will not miss world-class announcing because there's so many plot holes. Anyway, Iceman King Parsons up next against Stephen Casey. Nothing wrong with the match per se, although it definitely is one of those matches where it's kind of booked to fill out a card, and it does come across that way. Iceman Parsons continues to be one of the better heels in the territory, and again, I say it on a regular basis, but the idea that he never went further in his career on a consistent basis is surprising to me. Parsons does do a lot of jive talking, cross-body by Stephen Casey. Casey manages a sunset flip 1-2, doesn't get what he wants on the sunset flip. Tries for an inside cradle 1-2, and once again a lot of backtracking by Iceman King Parsons. Trips over actually a TV cord on the outside of the ring. I find that funny when guys do pratfalls on the basis of things that are around the outside of the ring. I think it's more realistic. I think even if you know it's there, making it look like you don't is a big deal. One punch, though, neutralizes Steve Casey at the hands of Iceman King Parsons. Fans are happy on the outside of the ring, that is, until Parsons gets a Victory and puts Casey away. Tatum and Victory address the Simpson brothers. Basically, actually, before we get there, the Simpsons are holding the tag team championship. They say they will do battle again at the Cotton Bowl, the beginning of October. They're kind of hyping that. They're hyping continuation of their tag team feud. The Simpsons say they're the best tag team in the area, etc., and so forth. It's such basic stuff. And the Simpsons probably the most over babyface tag team in the area, but it's more because they don't have other tag teams than it is because they're really good or not good. Then we go to Ron Ellis against Manuel Villalobos. Villalobos has been here before, most notably teamed with Al Madrill over the last several years, but being given an opportunity here again, I feel like he's a guy who's just passing through. Ron Ellis, not much known about him. Villalobos, obviously a former mainstay in the area for at least several months, a few years back, and I mean that's a big deal. Villalobos obviously does get his victory, and that is a good thing. Then we move to Tatum and Jack Victory addressing the Simpson brothers. They basically say they want the feud to be over between the two. They'll do anything to make that happen. Then we move on to highlight clips of Kevin Von Erich and Bob Bradley. Von Erich has the arm bar on Bob Bradley for quite a bit. Kevin and the claw and the spinning toe hold is a poster in the crowd. Can't believe they're using posters all the way in 1988. I don't remember much of that being done. Well, actually, yeah, I do. I do remember posters when I started going to shows in '89, but it was mainly kids in the crowd, and it wasn't everybody, and it wasn't. It was basically to support the baby faces. Anyway, Kevin Von Erich wraps the big leg scissors around Bob Bradley. Obviously, Bradley does manage to stumble around for a minute, hold on for a little bit, but doesn't hang on very long. And Irish whip by Kevin. Kevin manages to be ready for the cross body from the second rope by Bradley. Bradley runs right into I guess you'd say a diving sunset flip into a schoolboy. Kevin goes for the sunset flip, but the positioning isn't right. Just transfers into a second rope schoolboy indirectly and gets the victory anyway. Your main event, Hollywood John Tatum against Sean Simpson. Why they're doing this when we've seen both teams already on the show doesn't make sense to me. But with 8 minutes left, maybe they just had time to kill. Simpson manages to use a head scissors and control Tatum for the next several minutes. Tatum controls Simpson with a head scissors to be followed. Simpson rolls through the better wrestler, as it should be with a baby face. Anyway, brawling on both sides to a degree. Tatum gets better, however, when Simpson fires up, he ducks to the outside. Victory giving advice to him from ringside, which, again, these are so predictable at this point, formulaic of the matches. Roll up attempted, 1, 2, 3, and Simpson gets the victory there. We closed the month of August of 1988, continuing with the craziness of the feud between Simpsons and Victory and Tatum. But that's what you got in World Class in this era. We'll be back with more right after this.